Hello children, hope you are doing safe and good at home. As we have finished our unit 5 prose lesson, it's time for us to learn the poem. As I told you already, get ready with your ERC questions, the explanation for each and every line of the poem of first unit and second unit. Get ready with that, and we will continue to do that for all the other poems too. And before you come to school, finish all the book back exercises, vocabulary exercises in book back after every prose lesson. Only then we will be able to discuss the answers when you get back to school. Yes? So today we will learn A Father to His Son by Carl August Sandburg. Before we go ahead with the poetry, we will learn about the author. Poetry is the opening and closing of a door, leaving those who look through to guess about what was seen during a moment. Carl Sandburg. So, this is what is the quote Carl Sandburg gives about the poetry. Poetry is opening and closing of a door. Okay, it is a door which can be opened and closed. Means the person who is looking at it can guess what they are seeing at that moment. Like, if I look at a scene of somebody begging, I can think that that person is poor. That person is begging because he is unable to compete with the world. Some other person may think about a person who is begging. Some other person may think that that person is begging, at least he is doing that begging to save his family. Okay, that is the perspective you look at certain things. Not everybody understands in the certain way, in the same way. They have their own understanding. So poetry is a door that can be opened and closed. When you look at something, how you feel is what is expressed in the poetry. That is what is the meaning of the quotation Carl Sandburg gives. Sandburg was born in Galesburg, Illinois, to parents of Swedish ancestry. Carl August Sandburg, January 6, 1878 to July 22, 1967, was an American poet, writer, and editor. He won 3 Pulitzer Prizes, 2 for his poetry and 1 for his biography of Abraham Lincoln. During his lifetime, Sandburg was widely regarded as a major figure in contemporary literature. Contemporary is nothing but in the same period of time there will be so many poets. So contemporary is like the poets who lived in the same period of time, like that. Especially for volumes of his collected verse, including Chicago Poems, Corn Huskers, and Smoke and Steel in 1920. He enjoyed unrivaled appeal as a poet in his day, perhaps because the breadth of his experiences connected him with so many strands of American life, and at his death in 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson observed that Carl Sandburg was more than the voice of America, more than a poet of his strength and genius. He was America. Okay, so when he was dead, the president of that time stated that he was a voice of America. Most of his poems had replicated the life of America, the voice of America, the people, their thoughts, their behaviors, their life. All those was expressed in his poem. That is the only reason this president had told that he is a voice of America. Let's look at this poem. It's an interesting poem, very interesting poem. Any time in your life you can connect with this poem. Yes. There is again a warm-up exercise. We will learn it what? Every parent is anxious about the welfare of his or her children. Parents express their anxiety by advising them almost all the time. What kind of advice do you frequently receive from your parents? Fill in the bubbles. Take the ones you like to follow implicitly and give reasons for ones you don't like to follow. Okay? See, when you say friends, you remember their words of encouragement, their words of support. Yes. When you say teachers, you remember their scoldings, their advice. And certain teachers, you can remember them for their goodness to you. Yes. And when you say parents, they are your life, of course. Of course, they have given you life, and for them, you are the life, and for you, they are the life. When you think on your parents, apart from their goodness, apart from whatever they have done for you in your lifetime, very prominently in your age at least, you will remember the word advice that is always tagged to your parents, isn't it? Your parents will always be tagged with the word advice. My parents advise me all time, almost all the time. If you take it as an advice, it is an advice. When you take it as a lesson shared for you to be good in your life, that's how you see it, yes? And here, in this warm-up exercise, they have asked you to fill the advices, at least 4 advices that almost all the time your parents give you. Okay? After you fill that, you'll have to say, you'll have to reason it out. Which advice do you want to follow? Which one you don't want to follow? If you want to follow, what is the reason? If you don't want to follow, what is the reason? This is what you are going to do. So you can pause the video. You can do the exercise. And then you can get back. Of course, you will have your book with you. Go ahead to use your pencil, do the exercise and get back to the video. Once you finish this exercise, here it is for you. We'll go ahead learning the poem. A father sees his son nearing manhood. What shall he tell that son? Life is hard. Be still, be a rock. And this might stand him for the storms and serve him from humdrum monotony. Okay, so a father is seeing, right now this poem is having a father and a son as the characters. Father is looking at his son and he is understanding that the son is growing up. He had grown up and he is attaining his manhood now. Okay, he is growing up very big, equal to his shoulders. So he wants to tell his son, he wants to tell something to his son. What is that? He wants to tell, life is hard. Be a steel, be a rock. Okay, so this is what the advice this father wants to give to the son, because whenever life is hitting him as a storm, okay, this advice will stand next to him and serve him from humdrum monotony. Whenever he feels that he is alone, nobody is supporting him, nobody is next to him. When he is feeling that, again this advice will come to him. Life is hard, be a steel, be a rock. Yes, that advice will always be in his mind. That is the advice this father wants to give. This is the first 5 lines. Next set of lines. And guide him among sudden betrayals and tighten him for slack moments. Okay, so this is what you have to observe. Life is hard, be a steel, be a rock. This advice he wants to give it to his son, because this advice will stand with him when life is hitting him as a storm and serve him from humdrum monotony. Whenever he is feeling alone, it will stand with him and guide him among sudden betrayals. Sudden betrayal is nothing but somebody is cheating on you. Yes, might be your friend, might be the person whom you think is the person will come along with you the lifelong. Okay, and suddenly you feel that that person had cheated on you. Then that sudden betrayal will put you down. Then this advice of life is hard, be a steel, be a rock, will guide the son when he is experiencing sudden betrayals. Tighten him for slack moments. Yes, whenever he is having a slacking moment, losing hope, losing himself, not having confidence on himself, whenever he is experiencing that moment, This advice, life is hard, be a steel, be a rock, will always tighten him, will give him confidence, will stand with him like a throne next to him. That is what is the reason. These are the 4 reasons father wants to give this advice. Life is hard, be a steel, be a rock advice to his son. Yes. Next advice. Advice number 2. Life is a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. See, first one he said, life is hard. Be a rock, be a steel, he said. And there are moments that will suit that advice. And now he is telling, life is like a soft loam. Loam is nothing but nore. Okay, so life is like a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. How will you handle that loam? Will you be hard on it? Can you squeeze it? No. Easily, in a soft, gentle manner, you should handle it. That is how life is. You should also handle life also in the same gentleness, with the same gentleness, with the same easiness. And this too might serve him. Brutes have been gentled when lashes failed. Okay? Brutes have been gentled when lashes failed. When words are there, brutes, words, soft words, calming words, soothing words. Yes, those words will heal your wound when lashes fails, when beatings fail. Okay, அடிக்கிற அடிவாங்காத மாடு படியாது, like that one proverb is there in Tamil. Yes, lashes. When you are hit strong, when you are given a strong blow, you will come out of the evilness and you will follow the good path. There are people who believe it, isn't it? But when that fails, when that lash fails, brutes, the soft words will help you achieve higher in your life. That is why he is telling, life is a soft loam, be gentle, go easy. The growth of the frail flower in a path up has sometimes shattered and split a rock. Okay, the growth of a frail flower in the path up has sometimes shattered and split a rock. Have you seen in a mountain or in an area or in a land where nobody is using it much? There might be rocks or some house that is not used for a long time. In between the rocks, there will be a flower that is blowing. Yes, and because of this flower, the rock would have experienced a crack in it. Yes, a frail flower, a wild flower that is growing in its own path has sometimes shattered and split the rock. It might have shattered the rock into pieces. It might have split the rock into 2 pieces. Yes, so always, it is not always you have to be a steel. It is not always you have to be a rock. At times, life is a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. Okay, that is what it is. Soft words will help you heal your wounds. Okay, a frail flower, a wild flower, always it's a flower. It's, be it wild or domestic, flower is a flower. It has its own softness, but still, because it is growing, it is shattering. Its capability is up to shattering a rock, splitting up a rock. Yes, so being gentle, being easy, also you can handle life. A tough will counts, so does desire, so does a rich soft wanting. Without rich wanting, nothing arrives. Okay, a tough counts, a tough will count. Okay, whenever you are going to be tough, of course it is counted. So does desire. When you want it, you will get it. When you are feeling that life is tough, means what? You are going in your paths to achieve what you want in your life. So is desire. So desire means what you want in your life. So you want something in your life, you have to go ahead to achieve it. Work for it. So does a rich, soft wanting. I want that. I want to possess it. I want to achieve my goal. Without rich wanting, nothing arrives. Rich is nothing but richness in money. Here, richness in your thoughts. richness in your goal. How big are you aiming on? What is that big thing that you want to achieve in your life? That is what is this richness. Okay, so a tough will counts, so does desire, so does a rich, soft wanting. If you desire something, if you want something, it has to be rich. It has to be the utmost thing that you want in your life, and it must be a soft wanting. Yes, and that's where the roughness starts. This roughness doesn't mean that life is hard on you. Understood? Without rich wanting, nothing arrives, nothing you will achieve without wanting something in your life. That want should be in each and every nerve of yours. Such a wanting you should be. That is the richness. That is the meaning of that richness. Tell him too much money has killed men and left them dead years before burial. The quest for lucre beyond a few easy needs has twisted good enough men sometimes into dry, thwarted worms. Okay, so he wants to tell his son, okay, tell him to means what? He wants to tell his son this too. What is that? Money had killed men and left them dead years before burial. One day or the other, the human who is born in the earth, he is going to die. One day or the other, they are going to be buried. But because they are running behind money, they are making themselves dead years before they are ready to be buried. Okay, means what? They are just leaving out whatever their wants in their life, they are just leaving it out. Whatever their desire in their life, they are not remembering it. Yes, they are just like that, running behind money, money, money. They have become money minded, which means they are dead people not enjoying their life. Okay, the quest for lucre beyond a few easy needs has twisted good enough men. Okay, so quest for lucre. Okay, I want this, I want that, this, that, everything they want it beyond few easy needs. See, a person, a human being to live in this world, food, shelter, clothing, that is more than enough. But food, are we satisfied with whatever food we get? No. Shelter, are we satisfied with whichever house we live? No. Clothing, are we satisfied with whichever clothing we use? No, of course. At home, I will wear this clothing. When I go out, that's something else. When it's my birthday, again, it's going to be the special moment. So I want a very nice clothing. Yes, I don't care about money, what it is, because I run behind money to satisfy my needs. Okay, so easy needs are there in life. Every day I get one a cup of rice to live on. That is enough for me. But still, I earn for pizza. I earn for a burger. I earn for biryani. Yes, that is what will serve my stomach. Will it is not serving your stomach. It's serving your heart. Those easy needs are there. We are not targeting on them. We are going ahead to in a lucre of crest, like we are going in search of things that we want more and more and more and more. We are not limiting ourselves for our wants. So good men, even good men are twisted enough. Sometimes into dry, thwarted worms. Okay, like worms that go ahead to wander everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Worms will never take rest. Worms will go ahead to wander everywhere, search for food all the time. Okay, so like that, we have become one. Tell him, as a stuff can be wasted, tell him to be fool ever so often. Okay, so tell him time as a stuff can be wasted. See, he wants to tell his son, most of the parents, our parents, of course my parents too, they would have told us, time is precious, don't waste it. Time is always precious. You will never get back the time what you are wasting. Of course, I would have told you many times in the classroom. Yes, but this poet Carl Sandburg is telling that he wants to tell his son that time is a stuff that can be wasted. See, that's a different advice, right? Why is he saying so? Tell him to be fool ever so often and to have no shame over having been a fool. Yet learning something out of every folly, hoping to repeat none of the cheap follies. Okay, so this is the second thing. When he is telling times stuff can be wasted, he is not explaining it here. He is explaining the second line. Tell him to be fool ever so often. See, none of the parents will tell you. You can be a fool at times. Nobody will tell you, isn't it? Be a fool at times. So what? Will a parent say that? No, I don't think so. But Carl Sandburg is telling, he wants to tell his son that he can be a fool at times. Okay? And when he is behaving a fool, what he is advising his son? No shame over having been a fool. He should not be shameful of being a fool. Okay? Yet, learning something out of every folly, every mistake. When will you become a fool, man? Will you be acting like a fool in front of the people? Then will you become fool? No. Without understanding the situation, without understanding what is being asked, without understanding the expectation of the person in front of you, if you go ahead to express yourself in a wrong way, then you will become a fool. That is what he is pointing out here. You can be a fool, not a problem at all. But you should not be shameful for being a fool. What you should be? You should be learning that lesson from that mistake, folly, mistake. From that mistake, what you made, being a fool, you should learn the lesson. Okay, learn. Why is that you have become a fool here? That lesson you should learn, and you should be never be repeating that same mistake in your life again. Okay, that is what is hoping to repeat none of those cheap follies again. Thus arriving at intimate understanding of a world numbering many fools. Thus arriving at intimate understanding of a world numbering many fools. There are many fools in this world. So you should understand the fool, the word fool as this. Okay, you should understand it like those fools have made many mistakes, learned from the mistakes, taken those mistakes as the stepping stone, and they have become successful people. That is how you should understand it. Tell him to be alone often and get at himself. And above all, tell him no lies about himself, whatever the white lies and protective fronts. Okay, so tell him, he wants to tell his son to be alone often and get at himself. Means what? He wants to tell his son that the son has to spend some alone time in his life and think about himself. He has to think about himself and understand his weakness and strength. And above everything, he wants to tell his son that he should not be lying about himself. He should never tell a lie about himself to others. Okay, white lies is nothing but the silly ones. Just like that, we'll say, if your friend says he has a shoe, that too in a branded one, that this and all, out of jealousy or out of the feel that you don't have anything, you can also tell, I do have that. Don't you know that? I bought it for my last birthday. That kind of a silly lie. That's not required at all. When you don't have something, you can say, I don't have that. The talent you have might be your friend will not have. Got it? So you need not be protective in front of your friends. You need not be protective on the people who give comments on you. You need not be. You can just like that accept, yes, this is me. And you need not wait for their approval too. When you feel this is you and you feel confidence in that, you need not wait for others to acknowledge that confidence. Yes? He may use against other people. Tell him solitude is creative if he is strong, and the final decisions are made in silent rooms. Okay, so protective friends he may use against other people. That is what it is. And tell him solitude, being alone. Solitude is creative if he is strong. Of course, solitude. See, when you are all alone, sitting all alone in your home or in your classroom or in your school, whichever place is providing you that silence, you will get to think about yourself, think about your life, think about what you are up to. Yes, and that's when the decisions what you make will be the right decisions. That solitude should be there. Okay, that solitude can become creativity if you are strong enough in your heart. That is what he said in the first thing. Life is hard, be a steel, be a rock, because when you are alone, okay, that monotony, that advice will stand next to him when he is feeling that monotonous. Okay, all the time I'm doing this, all the time I'm alone, like that feeling, when you get it, when you are strong inside your heart, when you have that confidence in you, this solitudeness can become a creativeness. Okay, and final decisions are made in silent rooms. Okay, quiet room, quiet atmosphere will give you all that strength to decide in a perfect manner. When you want to decide something, when you have people around, or it's a noisy situation, of course you will not be able to think on it, focus on it. When you have people around, there will be suggestions. Yes, so when you want to take decisions, solitude will help you always. Okay, if it becomes natural and easy, being different, let him have lazy days seeking his deeper motives. Okay, so tell him to be different from other people if it becomes natural and easy being different. Okay, so tell him to be different. Being a unique person is what everyone wants to be. There are personality development classes, there are tactics, techniques classes, there are aptitude building classes. What are all they? They are nothing but building up, making you unique compared to other people. Okay, so when it comes naturally to you, then it is even more different from other people. You will be more unique from other people, isn't it? When you get yourself trained and portray yourself as a unique person is good, or you yourself bring up your uniqueness. Okay, from you naturally it comes up. Always the quality that naturally shows up is the unique quality you will have. Okay, that is what he wants his son to become. He wants his son to understand the uniqueness in him and bring out that uniqueness. Let him have lazy days seeking his deeper motives. Let him seek deep for where he is born natural. Okay, so lazy days. Lazy days are okay. You can sit alone, do nothing, waste time. But there should be a deeper thought in you. That motives should be much more deeper in you. Okay, you have to seek deep in you where you are born. What is that you want? That seeking in your heart, that should be done much more deeper. Then he may understand Shakespeare and the Wright brothers, Pasteur, Pavlov, Michael Faraday, and free imaginations. That is when you will understand all these people inside you. Might be you are a poet like Shakespeare, might be you are an inventor like Wright brothers, might be you are a pastor, might be you are a writer like Pavlov. Okay, might be you are a psychologist like Michael Faraday. Okay, so free imaginations. When you're lazy, when you're doing nothing, when you're wasting your time, that's when you have to think deep on you and then find who you are. That is the only reason the father wants to tell his son that wasting time is okay, son. Being lazy, doing nothing is okay, but the result must be finding who you are and what you want to be. Okay, bring changes into the world, resenting change. He will be lonely enough to have time for work he knows as his own. Okay, so when he is knowing about himself, when he knows what he is, what he wants to be, then that is the time he had spent quality time all alone to discover what is that he want to do, what is the change he wants to bring in the world. Okay, resenting change, the change that can be talked about all the life, such a change this person can bring in only when he is thinking about himself so deeper and knowing what he is. Okay, so this is what is the advice the father is wanting to give it to the son. Okay, we'll read the poem once again from the beginning and then I want you to read the poem once again from your textbook and write the meanings after each and every line. A father sees his son nearing manhood. What shall he tell that son? Life is hard, be a steel, be a rock, and this might stand him for the storms and serve him for humdrum monotony, and guide him among sudden betrayals and tighten him for slack moments. Life is a soft loam, be gentle, go easy, and this too might serve him. Breaths have been gentle where lashes failed. The growth of the frail flower in a path up has sometimes shattered and split a rock. A tough will counts. So does desire. So does rich, soft wanting. Without rich wanting, nothing arises. Tell him to be Tell him too much money has killed men and left them dead years before burial. The quest of lucre beyond a few easy needs have twisted good men, sometimes into dry thwarted worms. Tell him that time as a stuff can be wasted. Tell him to be a fool ever so often and to have no shame over having been a fool. Yet, learning something out of every folly, hoping to repeat none of the cheap follies. Thus, arriving an intimate understanding of the world numbering many fools. Tell him to be alone often and get at himself. And above all, tell him no lies about himself, whatever the white lies and protective fronts he may use against other people. Tell him solitude is creative if he is strong and final decisions are made in silent rooms. Tell him to be different from other people if it comes natural and easy being different. Let him have lazy days seeking his deeper motives. Let him seek deep from where he is born natural. Then he may understand Shakespeare and the Wright brothers, Pasteur, Pavlov, Michael Faraday, and free imaginations. Bring changes into the world, resenting change, he will be lonely enough to have time for the work he knows as his own. Yes, such a beautiful poem that you can relate to your life every time when you face difficulties, when you face challenges in life. Remember, life is hard, be a steel, be a rock. Life is a soft loam. Handle it gentle and go easy with life. Both situation will be experienced by you in your life. Go ahead to take it from Carl Sandburg. Have it in mind. Remember with you all the time. Yes, and there are fathers, especially fathers. Mothers are always given that equal treatment. Especially fathers. When they say you something in this age, it will be hard for you to get it. But when you become a father, you will definitely think of it. Yes. So when your father is telling you something, give ears to it. Drop your ears to it. Try to remember at least if you don't understand it very well out of the experience. Of course, you will remember it when you undergo the hardship or the success in your life. Yes, children. Thank you so much. Meet you again.